Last session in February, the third Saturday, we discussed Chapter 2, Text 15. Yam hi na vedyante ete purusham purusharshava samadukha sukham dhiram so amritatvaya kalpate. So Krishna was saying there that one who is equipoised in dukkha and sukha, in unhappiness and happiness, he is eligible to get the nectar, the real nectar of immortality. And now in this verse, this month, we are discussing chapter 2, text 16. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, ubhayorapi drishto antas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So word by word, na, never, asata, of the non-existent, vidyate, there is, bhava, endurance, na, never, abhava, changing quality, vidyate, there is, sata, of the eternal, ubhayo, of the two, api, verily, drishta, observed, anta, conclusion, tu, indeed, anayo, of them, tattva, of the truth, darshibhi, by the seers. So the translation is, those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Those who are there is no endurance of the changing body, that the body is changing every moment by the actions and reactions of the different cells is admitted by modern medical science, and thus growth and old age are taking place in the body. But the spirit soul exists permanently, remaining the same despite all changes of the body and the mind. That is the difference between matter and spirit. By nature, the body is ever-changing and the soul is eternal. The conclusion is established by all classes of seers of the truth, both impersonalist and personalist. In the Vishnu Purana, it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotim She Vishnur Bhuvanani Vishnu. The words existent and non-existent refer only to spirit and matter. That is a version of all seers of truth. This is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. Removal of ignorance involves the re-establishment of the eternal relationship between the worshipper and the worshipable, and the consequent understanding of the difference between the part and parcel living entities and the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One can understand the nature of the Supreme by thorough study of oneself, the difference between oneself and the Supreme being understood as a relationship between the part and the whole. In the Vedanta Sutras as well as in Srimad Bhagavatam, the Supreme has been accepted as the origin of all emanations. Such emanations are experienced by the superior and inferior natural sequences. The living entities belong to the superior nature as it will be revealed in the 7th chapter. Although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as the supreme, and the energy or nature is accepted as the subordinate. The living entities, therefore, are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. And to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. Na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate satah, ubhayorapi drishtantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. Those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of the non-existent, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate गोपेश गोपिकान्त राधाकान्त नमोऽस्तुते। तप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पातरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। So we are discussing the verse na sato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata ubhayor api drishtantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So this is these verses in Srimad Bhagavad Gita. In the second chapter, there are many verses where Krishna is explaining the nature of both the material and the spiritual elements. So this particular verse is doing the same. So na sato vidyate bhavo. So that which is temporary always changes. So this is a very kind of logical statement. There's you don't some people who are into science would always understand things in terms of logic, and uh, and this is a very logic which is really evident that the change in the body is happening constantly. Every moment the body is changing, and this is very beautifully described in the scriptures, where it is stated that the body goes through 6 kinds of changes. It's called Shad Vikar. Shad is 6 and Vikar is changes. So the first, what is the first thing that happens? We take birth. So that's when the body actually is coming in the material world, basically, and then we grow, and then we stay. We stay like that for some time. Then we produce byproducts. Then we start dwindling, and then finally we vanish. So Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad Gita about avyaktadini bhutani vyakta madhyani bharata avyakta nidhanani eva tatra ka paridevana. So Krishna it's a very beautiful verse where Krishna says that before our birth we were non-existent. So avyaktadini bhutani. So there was no. So the story of this particular body starts when this body is born. So Avyaktadini Bhutani. So when before the birth, there is no existence of this body. And Vyakta Madhyani Bharata, the body is existent when the body takes birth. And then Avyakta Nidhanani Eva. And then after death, again it becomes non-existent. So Tatra Kya Paridevana. Then is asking Arjuna, then why do you want to worry? It started from not existing, like in terms of the physical frame, and it ends again in the same way. So what is there? What is there to? Why do you want to lament so much about it? So this is okay. So this is the changes that are happening. So the 6 kinds of changes that happen, and when these changes are happening externally, but internally it is eternal. So this is the real spiritual nature that we can understand, that spirituality actually begins when we understand what is spirit, who is that's the so we have so many religions in this universe, and the start of the religion can happen only when we understand who we really are. That's the beginning of actually dharmam tu sakshat bhagavad pranitam. So it's stated in Srimad Bhagavatam that the real religion is the codes that is given by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Himself. And what is Sri Krishna saying in Bhagavad Gita? This is what Sri Krishna is saying, that na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata, Ubhayor api drishtantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So tattvadarshibhi is a very important word here in this particular verse, chapter 2, text 16. Tattvadarshibhi. So one who is the seer of the real truth. So what is happening is when we are taking birth, we are we are getting package, a package of what was in the subtle body before taking birth. So the subtle body is the mind intelligence and the false ego. So Krishna actually mentions that what we are composed of, from changing from in terms of the spiritual element, what we are composed of. So bhumi rapo analo vayu kham mana buddhirevacha ahankaram ityam me bhinna prakriti ashtadha. So Krishna says that there are 8 separated energies that I have, and that starts with bhumi. So the earth, apa, the water, anala, the fire, vayu, air, bhumi apo anala vayu, kham, the ether, the space, mana buddhir evacha. So mind, intelligence, and ahankaram. Ityame bhinna prakriti ashtadha. Aparas idastvanyam vidhime prakriti param jiva bhutam mahabaho yayedam dharyate jagat. So Krishna continues in the next verse. He says that apart from all these gross and subtle elements, there is this living entity, Jiva Bhutam Mahabaho Yayedam Dharyate Jagat. So this living entity has been given that minute capability exactly same as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is the greatness of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. That Krishna says, Mamayavamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana Manashashtani Indriyani Prakriti Sthani Karshati. So the living entities are eternally part and parcel of the Supreme Lord. Eternally part and parcel. So this is an extremely important part to understand. We are never separated from Krishna. The separation is happening because we want to be separated. It's really amazing to understand this concept. So we are actually wanting to be separate from our creator, and this is it's a very strange situation we are in, and so that's why Krishna says Mamai Vamsho. So each and every living entity is my eternal part and parcel. So that means that we are eternally related to Krishna. Mamai Vamsha Jivaloke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. So eternally. Manashashtani Indriyani. So when the mind and the 5 senses, when we identify ourselves with the 5 senses and the mind, then Prakriti Sthani Karshati. Then what happens is immediately we have identified ourselves as a temporary being, even though we are eternal, even though we are eternally related to Krishna and eternally existing. Immediately when we identify with the 5 senses and the mind, then the struggle in the material universe starts. The struggle is starting with the identification with something that constantly changes. So this is Krishna here says in Bhagavad Gita, na sato vidyate bhavo, na bhavo vidyate sata. So something that is constantly changing, when we identify ourselves with that, then there comes the whole predicament in which we find ourselves in, and this is the kind of there is a great responsibility that's been given to us in the human form of life, because only in the human form of life can we actually understand who we really are. So in the human form of life, there is an evolved intelligence that has been given, and with that intelligence, so mayeva mana adastva mayi buddhi niveshaya nivasishyasi mayeva ata urdhvam na samshaya. So Krishna actually says, so that's why Krishna says that give your mind to me. Mayeva mana adhastva, my buddhi niveshaya, and invest your intelligence in me. Nivasishyasi mayeva atha urdhvam na samshaya. So when you do that, undoubtedly you'll come to me. So this is the so it's not it's just the kind of understanding that that we are uh, that this it constantly changes. We don't need any any extra. It's a common sense to understand that everything is constantly changing. So Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad Gita as well about this this particular verse where he says, "Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yauvanam jara tatha dehantaram prapti tata dhiras tatrana mohyati." So because there is a proprietor of the body within the body, there is this change that is taking place. Kaumaram yauvanam jara. So there is this youth, uh, youth age, kaumaram, the childhood, youth, and old age. Tatha dehantaram prapti. So similarly, the body has to be given up. So dhiras tatrana mahyati. So therefore, a person who is sober is not bewildered by these changes. So this is the understanding that we get from Bhagavad Gita. So in terms of the text 16, so we are so here Srila Prabhupada mentions that in the Vishnu Purana it is stated that Vishnu and his abodes all have self-illuminated spiritual existence. Jyotim se Vishnu, Vishnur Bhuvanani Vishnu. So, the Krishna actually mentions in Bhagavad Gita as well that natad bhasate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. That in the spiritual world there is no nas. So natad bhasate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. So from where we so the place from where there is no return, so that is my supreme abode. So natad bhasate suryo, so there is no need of sun or moon to illuminate in the spiritual world, because spiritual world is self-illumined. So the self-illumination is the basic aspect of the spiritual world. In the material world there is need of sun and moon to give us the light, and na pavaka, so even electricity. So when there's no sun and moon, there is electricity. But in the spiritual world, that's what it is said. Natad bhasate suryo na shashanko na pavaka yad gatva na nivartante tad dhamam paramam mama. So Srila Prabhupada mentions here, this is the beginning of the instruction by the Lord to the living entities who are bewildered by the influence of ignorance. So then we can klesho adhikaras tesham avyakta asakta chetasam avyakto hi gatir dukkham deha vadbir avapyate. So it is stated in by Krishna that when we try to go in the path of understanding the Supreme as impersonal, then that path has a lot of klesha, a lot of difficulties. And the yoga actually mentions about the pancha klesha, the five kinds of difficulties when we are embodied, when we get a body and mind and intelligence, and we are identifying with it. So it starts with avidya. Avidya is ignorance. So that is what Srila Prabhupada has mentioned here. Avidya, asmita. The second is asmita. Asmita is ego. So when there is ignorance, there is identification with false ego. Immediately there is identification with false ego. So real knowledge is the understanding that we are eternal, eternally related to the Supreme Lord, and we are eternally existing. But when that real knowledge is not there, we immediately identify with the external body, which is constantly changing. And then, so that is avidya. Avidya leads to asmita. So when we identify with the body, immediately that is false ego. I am this person. So that false ego comes. So avidya, asmita. Then there is raga and dvesha. So because there is the false ego, this false ego has got certain likings and certain dislikings. So the false ego would would probably say that I like this particular thing because of my subtle bodies that I have been taking since time immemorial, subtle and gross bodies as well. But the subtle body is actually keeping the storehouse of everything that I've experienced every moment in my innumerable lives. So it's a huge baggage that we are identifying with, and avidya is ignorance. When there is ignorance, there is asmita, immediately identification with the false ego that I am this particular body. And then there is raga and dvesha. So raga is attachment to something, and dvesha is repulsion to something. So because I have got this particular body, uh, and because this body is an accumulation of a lot of experiences that I've been having since time immemorial, I have some attachment to some particular things and repulsions to some other things. So when that happens, then so whatever is attachment, I kind of get attached to it. Whatever is repelled, I run away from it. So this constantly happens. So and then there is this abhinivesha. So abhinivesha is this fear of uh, losing losing this material body. So that is the biggest fear in the material world, because that is the only way we uh, we know. The only thing that we know is that I am this body, and I have this mind intelligence, and I have these things that I like, and I have these things that I dislike. So that's and because of that, so these are called pancha kleshas in yoga. So avidya, asmita. So avidya is ignorance, asmita is false ego, raga is attachment, dvesha is repulsions, and finally abhinivesha. So that is the fear of death. And then there is a beautiful verse in Srimad Bhagavatam that says, "Bhayam dvitiya abhiniveshata syat." So that same word, abhinivesha is used in that particular verse, and it says that the fear happens because we think that there is this temporality in the existence, the, the temporary nature of material existence. The fear happens because of that. Ishadapetasya viparyayo asmriti. So when the living entity is not in connection with the Supreme Lord, then fear happens. Then there is fear. Otherwise, there is no fear. That's why Krishna is said Abhayam. So Abhaya Pradayaka. So he gives fearlessness to everyone. So there, why? Because when we are eternal, what is there to be afraid of? There's nothing to be. So the fear comes because we think that we are going to lose something. But if there is nothing to lose, where is the fear? There is no question of. So that's why Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma, Na Shochati Na Kankshati, Samas Sarveshu Bhuteshu Mad Bhakti Labhate Param. So Krishna actually says in Bhagavad Gita that when one identifies himself with who the person really is, that is eternal, then that stage is called the Brahmabhuta stage. The Brahmabhuta stage is when one knows that one is at least going in that direction. But I think the real Brahmabhuta is the person who is established in Brahman. So that is a Brahmabhuta. Prasannatma. So in that, when someone is in the Brahmabhuta stage, is Prasannatma, blissful, totally blissful. Why? Why can someone become totally blissful in Brahmabhuta stage? Because na shochati na kankshati. That is the next one. Because in that state there is no hankering. Hankering causes lamentation, kankshati and shochati. So when we identify, so coming back to the pancha kleshas, raga and dvesha. So when we identify with our body, then there is this some things that we like and we want it. So we are kind of hankering to have that thing. so that I want this particular thing and I'm hankering for it. And then if I don't get it, then I lament. Shochati. So kankshati and shochati. Brahmabhuta prasannatma na shochati na kankshati. So in that state, when a person knows that about the eternal nature, eternal existence, then there is no hankering and lamentation, because there is no need of anything. The only need is to be in connection with the Supreme Lord, and that we already are. The only thing that is needed is to uncover the layers of ignorance that we have accumulated since time immemorial. So when we uncover the layers of ignorance, we know who we really are. So that is Brahmabhuta stage. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu. So in that state, when one is in the state of knowing the real nature, then there is no hankering and lamentation, and then one becomes equal to one sees everyone with an equal eye. Samas sarveshu bhuteshu, and then mad bhaktim lavate param. So Krishna says that then one achieves the loving devotional service, supreme loving devotional service to me. Mam chayo avyabhicharine bhakti yogena sevate sagunan samatite tan brahma bhuyaya kalpate. So Krishna again says, these are the corollaries, two corollaries that we have here. So one is through the knowledge, jnana, through jnana yoga and bhakti yoga. So the jnana yoga part is when one is trying to intellectually and even practically as well, but mainly the practicality is going through intellectuality, and one is knowing that one is Brahman, and in that state one can, like the example of the four Kumaras are there, like they were in the Jnana Yoga stage, but when they got the smell of the tulasi offered to the lotus feet of the Lord, then they became pure devotees. So that concept is there. So in the second was where mamchayo avyabhicharine bhakti yogena sevate. So the second is when a person is directly in the bhakti yoga, which is actually the means and the end. The end of all the yoga is when we can constantly manmana bhava madbhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame vaishisi satyam te pratijane priyosi me. So Krishna actually says in Bhagavad Gita that he says that manmana bhava. So give your mind to me. Madbhakta, become my devotee. Madhyaji. So offer your obeisances to me. Offer your prayers to me. Mame vaishisi satyam te. I'm telling this to you, the truth, that pratijane priyosime. He's telling Arjuna, because you are very, very dear to me, I'm telling you this most confidential knowledge. So this is the kind of understanding in the Vaishnava stream, where we are trying to understand that this relationship is eternally existing with the Lord. It's just that the covering is making it not seen by us. So when the covering is removed, we see it's like a mirror which has got so much dust in it that we are not able to see ourselves. We go in front of the mirror and we are not able to see ourselves, and we think, why I'm not able to see? This is mirror and I'm not able to see myself. So then, okay, we just see, oh, there's so much dust there. We clear the dust and then we see ourselves. So it's exactly the same concept here. So that's why Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So this concept of cleansing the mirror of mind or heart. So Cheto Darpana Marjanam. So when we cleanse our mind, then there is Bhavan Mahadavagni Nirvapanam. So this whole material world, it's called a blazing fire of material existence. Why is it a blazing fire? Because every moment there is some kind of danger that can happen. So padam padam yat vipadam. So samashrita ye padapallava plavam mahat padam Punya Yasho Murare, Bhavam Budir Vatsapadam Param Padam 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 Yat Vipadam Natesham. So Krishna says in Bhagavad so this is mentioned in Srimad Bhagavatam actually that when one has fully surrendered himself to the Samyak Rupena Ashrita, Ashrita is when we are taking shelter. So when we are taking total shelter of Samashritaye Pada Pallava Plavam. So it's the lotus feet of the Lord. So when we are taking the shelter of the lotus feet of the Lord, Samashritaye Pada Pallava Plavam, Bhavam Budir Vatsapadam Mahatpadam Punya Yasho Murare. So Krishna's another name is Murare. And this Murare means he is the. So there was this demon called Mura, and Are means he's the enemy. So he's enemy of the demon called Mura. So that's why he's called Murare. This is another interesting concept here, where we can see that even someone who is agnostic or is against the Lord, the Lord is actually giving him so much respect that his name is also kept along with Lord's name. So even though Mura is a demon and he was against the Lord, Krishna's name has a Murare. So he is the enemy of the demon Mura. This is the greatness of the Lord, that even so Krishna actually says that in Bhagavad Gita as well. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshyosti na priya. So ye bhajanti tu mam bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. So Krishna is equal to each and every living entity in this whole material universe. So it doesn't matter what kind of living entity a particular living entity is. Krishna is equal. Samoham sarva bhuteshu ye bhajanti tume bhaktya maite teshu chapyam. But according to the surrender that a person is giving to the Lord reciprocates accordingly. Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam stataiva bhajamyam mama vartamanu vartante manushya partha sarvasha. So Krishna actually says that whoever as they are. So if someone wants to be agnostic with the Lord, then Lord allows them to be agnostic. Someone wants to engage in service of the Lord allows them to serve. So it's an amazing. So there's so much freedom given to everyone, and only in freedom the real love can exist. The real love exists when there is when it's not controlled. If you're trying to control someone forcefully, then that is not love. That is attachment. So that's the difference between love and attachment. Attachment is where we are forcefully controlling someone, and love is when it's not that we don't control, but we don't control with the thinking that this is that I want you to do this way, I wanted to do that way. It's more in a way of guiding and saying that this is also a way. Try and have a look and try and understand this. So this is what the Lord is doing when He's giving us all His scriptures in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. He's telling us that there are all these ways that we have, and then it is up to us to decide what we want to do, whether we want to take up that way or whether we don't want to take up that way. It's up to us to decide. So in this verse, na sato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata ubhayor api drishtantastva anayos tattva darshibi. So Srila Prabhupada actually mentions here, although there is no difference between the energy and the energetic is accepted as a supreme, and energy or nature is accepted as a subordinate. The living entities, therefore, are always subordinate to the Supreme Lord, as in the case of the master and the servant, or the teacher and the taught. Such clear knowledge is impossible to understand under the spell of ignorance. And to drive away such ignorance, the Lord teaches the Bhagavad Gita for the enlightenment of all living entities for all time. So this is where Srila Prabhupada is ending the verse, ending the purport. So this is the understanding that the Supreme Lord is the from Matta Padataram Nanyat Kinchidasti Dhananjaya Mai Sarvam Idam Proktam Sutre Manigana Iva. So there's a very beautiful example that Sri Krishna gives in Bhagavad Gita. He says that Just like the pearls are, how does all the pearl in a necklace, how does it join? It joins through a thread, but the thread is not seen. We see only the pearl. We don't see the thread. So, but then actually, it's because of the thread that the necklace is actually staying as a necklace. So this is an example where Krishna is saying that he is the basis of everything. So the Lord is the basis of everything, and he is present everywhere. But we see only his external energies because we ourselves are in the form of an external energy, in material energy, in the form of the body and mind. So we see only that. But matta parataram nanyat. So Krishna actually says in Bhagavad Gita that there is no one superior to me. Matta parataram nanyat kinchid asti dhananjaya. And Arjuna is addressed as Dhananjaya here. Dhananjaya means one who has one who has got all the wealth in the world, who has taken all the, who is victorious of all the wealth in the world, who has taken all the wealth. So Arjuna, even though Arjuna is Dhananjaya, Krishna says that there is no one Matta Parataram Nanyat. So there is no one more supreme than me. This is not, we should not understand this from our false ego perspective. If we try to understand this from a false ego perspective, we might actually go in the direction of saying, why does the Lord say like this? Does he also have a false ego? Obviously, absolutely not. The Lord, if the Lord had a false ego, then there is no existence. We don't exist then. So Krishna says, Matta Parataram Nanyat Kinchid Asti Dhananjaya. So there is no one supreme than me. Mai Sarvamidam Proktam Sutrimani. Just as the pearls are strung in a necklace, everything is resting upon me. So Matsthani Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Tesho Avasthita. Maya Tatamidam Sarvam Jagad Avyakta Murtina. Matsthani Sarva Bhutani Na Chaham Tesho Avasthita. So Krishna says that I am existing everywhere in the form of my energy, and actually there is no difference between the energy and the energetic, in the sense that because the energy emanates from the energetic, just like if the sun comes, the sun's rays, when the sun's rays come and it gives us heat and light, immediately we know that there is sun. So the sun is the energetic, that is from where the energy is coming, and the energy is in the form of heat and light that the sun is giving. So actually, so there is no, they are interdependent, but the energy cannot exist without the energetic. So this is the concept. The energy comes from the energetic. So therefore Krishna, he says that Maya tatamidam sarvam jagad avyakta murtina. So by me in my unpervaded energy form, I exist everywhere. Matsthani sarva bhutani na chaham teshu avastita. So this is so he's Krishna is saying that I'm existing everywhere in the form of my energy, and and personally, therefore, I'm not existing there. So Goloka eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta Govindam Adipurusham tamam bhajami. Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Abhistabirya eva Nijarupataya Kalabi. Goloko eva nivasati akhilatma bhuta Govindam Adipurusham tamam bhajami. So Krishna actually says that in Bhagavad Gita that Ananda Chinmaya Rasa Pratibhavita Abhis. So all this, the spiritual world is full of Ananda and Chinmaya. So that it's full of blissful. It is fully blissful. And that bliss can be accessed when we know who we really are. Then the bliss can be accessed at every moment. So that is Santa Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. So the Premanjana Churita. So when the eyes are anointed with love for the Lord, then the Lord can be seen everywhere. Santa Sadaiva, and every moment as well. Every moment and everywhere the Lord can be seen. Sadaiva Hridayeshu Vilokayanti. And in the heart as well. So the yogis are meditating on the Lord. They see that the Lord is in their heart. So Yam Shyama Sundaram Achintya Gunaswarupam Govindam Adipurusham Tamam Bhajami. So the form of the Lord is Shyama Sundara. So, and that is a transcendental form. It's not a form that is kind of speculated by mental on the mental platform. So, if it was speculated on the mental platform, then someone like Shukadeva Goswami would not be discussing about the Lord, about the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Shukadeva Goswami was in the liberated platform and totally not interested in anything. He was totally on the transcendental level. So when someone is on the totally transcendental level, one cannot Atma Ramascha Mune Nigrantapi Urukrame Kurvanti Ahetukim Bhaktim Itham Bhuta Guno Hari. So this is a very beautiful verse. So one who Ramante Yogina Anante Satyanande Chidatmani Iti Rama Padenashu Param Brahma Abhidiyate. So one who enjoys within himself. So that person does not need any external source for enjoyment, because when one realizes that one is Satchidananda, like one is a part and parcel of Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. So Krishna is Satchidananda Vigraha. So he is the total form of truth, eternality, and bliss. And we are part and parcel. Mamai Vamsha. Krishna says that each and every living entity is my part and parcel. So we are also Satchidananda. So then if we understand that, then there is all this externally, there might be lots of ups and downs that come that will not affect us to the extent that the people who are totally identified with the body would experience. So when a person is totally identified with the external body, anything is coming is totally impacting. Like if a person says that I am the car, we get people can buy some extremely expensive luxury car, and then they get so much attached to it, some scratch will happen in the car, and oh, I'm really, I feel really bad. Something happened to me. So it's like something happened to me. So, that's the similar concept here. So when there is that kind of attachment with the body, then then it becomes very difficult for in that frame of mind to. So that's why Krishna says, Bhogaishwarya prasaktanam taya pahrita chetasam vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidyate. So when someone is attached too much to enjoyment, bhoga and aishwarya. Bhoga is kind of material enjoyment, and aishwarya is like the luxury. So showing the luxury. So if someone is too much attached to that, bhoga and aishwarya, then taya apahrita chetasam. Then their mind has been actually kidnapped. Aparan, aparita. Vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhyate. So then such a person does not get the inclination to involve in these activities of spiritual activities. When someone is so much attached to the body and the mind and everything that is satisfied the body and the mind, then this inclination to engage in the spiritual activities unfortunately does not happen, if that's the case. So taya vyavasayatmika buddhi samadho na vidhyate. Then such a person does not kind of go into the state of trying to get into the samadhi mode. What is a samadhi is where there is total concentration on understanding who we really are. That's because if we see that we are only this, we are only the thing, the external, then where is the internal? The internal doesn't exist at all. If the thinking is only about external, then there is no internal. So vyavasayatmika buddhi ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hi anantascha buddhyo avyavasahinam. So there is another verse where Krishna says that when someone is in a vyavasayatmika buddhi, what is it? Vyavasayatmika buddhi is that one pointed kind of concentration. That is very important, even for any material things that we want to achieve. We need to have concentration. What to speak of spiritual, which is so subtle. So Keshagra Shata Bhagasya Shatada Kalpitasya cha. Jiva bhagam avigneyam su anantyaya cha kalpate. It is said that about us, the real us, that is eternal. It says that take a tip of the hair, cut it into 100 parts, and that 100 part again cut it into 100 parts. So there's 1/10,000th part of the tip of the hair. So it's just to give an estimation. It's probably so that much is the kind of size of the that's what the scripture is saying of the eternal spark because of which we have the life. If the spark is not there, the body gets mixed with all the five elements. It goes back the earth, water, fire, air, and ether. So there is no body then. So the spark is actually the cause of this whatever we are doing, whatever we are hearing, whatever we are saying, whatever we are listening. Everything is because of the spark, and it's so subtle. So even for the gross thing, we need to have concentration. What to speak of the subtlest of the subtle that we are. So vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana bahushakha hi anantasya buddhyo avyavasayinam. So when there is one pointed concentration, then that is called the vyavasayatmika buddhi. But when the mind is constantly going to different places, bahushakha, shaka is branches, so it gets deviated. So when the mind gets deviated, then that is the avyavasai. So that is the person who is unfortunately not able to engage in the spiritual activities. So now coming back to this verse, na sato vidyate bhavo na bhavo vidyate sata ubhayorapi drishtoantas tvanayos tattvadarshibhi. So those who are seers of the truth have concluded that of non-existence, the material body, there is no endurance, and of the eternal, the soul, there is no change. This they have concluded by studying the nature of both. So this is the understanding in this from this verse that we try to understand is that it's not so whatever we are seeing that is existing, but that is not the eternal truth. So that is the understanding that we need to get from this verse. That whatever we see in the material world is existing, but it is not the eternal truth. The eternal truth is our eternality. That is eternal truth. That we neither take birth, nor we die. So all this, the taking birth and everything is happening to the body, and we are the spark that is actually in control of this body. So if we can try and understand this particular conclusion from this verse, then it'll be a great kind of achievement for all of us. So it's great that we have been able to discuss this today by the costless mercy of the Lord, and hopefully we can continue this next month again, third Saturday. Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Sarvam Shri Krishna Arpanastu.